Welcome to Charlotte, North Carolina for our second round coverage of the Charlotte Roar presented by Greatest Media Team. We're at Bradford Park today. But before we get into the coverage, we'd like to thank a couple of our sponsors, including Grip Equipment, Discmania, Disc Golf 978, and First Available Print and Apparel. I'm Nathan Johnson, joined in the booth today by Tyler Wozniak. How's it going, Woz?
What is up, Nathan? Glad to be here and excited for this round. We had a good time on round one at Hornets Nest, and now we're at what's supposed to be a more scoreable course at Bradford. But the conditions, I would say, are a bit tougher. It was quite cold, a little windy, and there was a bit of a drizzling rain the entire round. Here's our leaderboard. A lot of guys log jammed up here at -9, and then Paul Ulibarri leading the pack at -12.
Yeah, Paul, really great first round we saw on coverage. Gave himself a 3-stroke buffer after round one. We'll see if he can keep that going here at Bradford. Fun course, fun park style course, a lot of par threes. We're playing the long tees, so we'll see what kind of challenge it can bring these players. Starting off on hole one, par 3, 375 feet. Pretty straight shot with a bit of left finish at the end, but you've got this interesting side slope to deal with on the green. It's going to be important to land your disc flat to minimize the ground play and keep yourself close for a birdie putt.
Challenging first hole.
Good luck, fist pumps. Paul Ulibarri, as we said, he's got himself a 3-stroke lead going into round two. A little bit of an early release from Uli and catches one of the branches on the left-hand side.
We have Nathan Queen from Kernersville, North Carolina.
There's Nathan Queen, no stranger to this style of course. And let's see how he carries the left-handed shots throughout the entire course.
Yeah, very solid round one. Just kept it clean, made some nice birdie putts. We'll see if he can keep that going here. And round two, this looks a bit overturned. Gonna have an uphill birdie putt coming back.
Good stop by the tree. Would have had a good putt regardless.
On your 115 card from Charlotte, North Carolina, we have Clay Edwards.
The local Clay Edwards, been on tour now for probably 4 or 5 years. Won some events, and he's looking to make his mark here today.
Yeah. Signature tongue out and the backhand throw for Clay. This one's looking good as long as it settles down nicely.
Let's check this out.
Yeah, gonna have a pretty similar putt to Nathan Queen from down there.
And then filling out your card for 115, we have Tyler Wozniak from Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, and there he is. Man to my left, rounding out this card. How are you feeling going into the day? Had a nice, solid round one, and now find yourself on coverage for round two.
Yeah, I'm super nervous right now, as you can tell. Not the best first shot.
All right, good luck, have fun.
I'm nervously laughing.
Yeah, it happens. You got it. Yeah, you get the shank out of the way early, and then you can just play golf. That's not the worst thing in the world, especially it looks like you got through most of the way on the right-hand side. But
Nah, I'm in jail.
Oh, gosh.
I've got nothing. I've got to pitch out. But that's a great point, Nathan, and I appreciate it.
It's trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. I got you, buddy.
Thanks. All right, here we go. A little upshot with my handy-dandy Stokely Finch. Overstable, beaded putter, straight to overstable. That's okay. It's right there by that tree.
A little tester putt to start your round.
Yeah.
Hole one's basket, you may notice, is like a good 4 inches shorter than most other baskets.
Yes.
You will play it as kind of like a weird short basket. I don't know if it's intentional or not. All right, uphill birdie look for Clay coming in.
Hold that.
Good bid. Good bid. He probably feels like that was solid, getting himself warmed up to make another one of those later.
Yeah, Clay, very solid putter. Definitely going to be looking for him making a couple circle 2 looks today. Same thing with Mr. Queen here, but both of them just didn't quite give it the height. Hard to do on a putt that's as uphill as those were.
That was a solid strike after a bad tee shot. I sacrificed. I have to make the bogey with the little up, little out, and Ulibarri with a good par.
Yeah, hole 1, just a tough birdie. Not one that you're looking to pick up. It's
feels good when you stripe this hole though, and really none of us threw it the way we wanted to. So
surprisingly, hole 1 hardest hole on the course at a 3.21 average. So
wow.
Kind of surprising, but we'll take a look at hole 2.
Here's hole 2. Very tricky uphill gap shot here to get out to the clearing. All you got to do is get past this tee pad here to give yourself a really reasonable look at laying up for the birdie. Another 400 feet or so here from that tee pad to get to this basket that is on a little bit of a hill, and if you overshoot it, you have OB behind. So there are some considerations to take into place when it comes to your landing zone.
Yeah, distance control, an important factor here on hole 2, but first step is just getting yourself out the gap.
And these rocks here at the top of this hill just kind of play tricks with your mind a little bit.
Yeah, definitely want to make sure you give it enough height to avoid those. Yuli's probably going to try to put a little bit of turn on this one as he gets out the gap.
Nice.
Yeah, that's fine. You're not really looking to get big distance here. You just want to get out the gap and have a reasonable shot to the green.
Good shot.
Queen skims the top of that rock and gets out there. Well done.
That was cool.
This one's a little stalled from Clay. He's going to be on the left side, but there's plenty of room. Either way, as long as you're throwing something that pushes straight out the gap, you should be in the open.
And I've never done that before, so I just figured I'd do it for the first time on this big coverage at a A-tier. Anyway, at least I'm throwing committed, and that's what I'm telling myself right now. It's like, maybe I didn't... Oh, well, let's look at this guy make a putt. Wow, good job. Look at Holt. Oh, that's Holt from round 1. And here I go with a nice little flick to get myself out of there. And once again, even though my first 2 drives are, quote-unquote shanks, I'm committing to them, and so I'm not too upset.
Yeah, still plenty of golf left, it is. You're gonna miss some shots, might as well get them out of the way early. Clay going with the forehand on his approach. This is looking like good width. We'll see on the distance. Looks like he came up quite a bit short.
Yeah, looks a little short. He's going to be disappointed. And Queen gets a really, really long roll there, but does not go OB. And Clay Edwards is not even short, so he's got a good look at a birdie putt.
Okay, yeah. A little deceptive on this approach to see how much distance these players have. This is looking like a great control from Yuli. Puts himself right under the basket. He's going to have a short putt left.
Yep. Little backhand up shot, just a little kind of touchy brush shot, I like to call them. Nose up solid and
land it nice and soft. Nice approach from you. Good par save there.
Yeah, that felt good.
So after that pretty unfortunate roll for Queen, he's got this 50-footer coming back up the hill. See if he can make the adjustment after missing a similar putt on hole 1.
Close.
Yeah, not a bad effort at all. And yeah, I severely misjudged Clay's shot there. Turns out he's pin high, 20 feet. And he's going to knock that down every time.
A good putt, yeah, very good putt, good putter. And he's got a birdie on the board. All right.
couple birdies, couple pars on hole 2 is kind of what you'd expect here. It's, obviously you'd like to get it, but that tee shot is still pretty intimidating with the uphill and the gaps and the rocks. So par here is nothing to worry about.
Yeah, if you don't get out that initial gap, it's hard to get a birdie on that hole.
Heading into hole 3, 315-foot par 3. I think this one's playing closer to 280. Most players, if you're a righty, are going to throw that forehand just inside the tree that we missed. Should spike somewhere near the basket. See a lot of players make the mistake of just pushing too straight and ending up in that rough that you can see to the left of the basket from this angle.
Yeah, and if you overturn one, you can go OB as well.
Yes, that creek is out of bounds, so something to keep in mind. But kind of a weird shape on this one, bit of a U-turn. Got to keep the disc moving right the whole way.
Uli kind of catches a break there. He definitely sawed that off, but it looks like he hits a branch and stays in bounds. That looks more correct. Yeah, Queen puts himself in a nice position with a good drive.
Yeah. It's a lot less stressful of a hole for the lefty. You kind of just throw that nice natural deep hyzer with the backhand, whereas for righties, it's tough to get a forehand on that steep angle and keep it moving right from the beginning. Clay's going with the backhand line. This is definitely too wide, and yeah, it doesn't quite get it to draw back to the right enough.
Yeah, he never quite got that where he wanted to, but not a bad throw. Give him a long putt.
What are you going with here?
Throwing a Prodigy M5, and I wasn't sure how good it was going to be out of my hand, but it looks like I am parked.
Yeah,
I know.
pretty good. There we go. There's the bounce back. Just a bit of a
Yeah.
delayed bounce back birdie, but that's a great shot to get you back on track, get the confidence up, and hopefully string a couple together here.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. That one felt good for sure.
Why not? Why not take another look at the form?
You know, my idea here is just skim the left side of this tree. Just squeak it, right? And there I go. I squeaked it and let the disc do the rest. That's my thought process on that throw.
Yeah,
That's
executed it well.
It's a big sigh of relief, not the best start, but try to get rolling now. Ulibarri with a good up.
Yep, came up a bit short after catching early, but should see if the par. Clay's got a long downhill look here.
Just put a little too much spin on that out there to the wide side. And he'll leave himself with a little bit of a tester. Ulibarri also looks like he kind of threw his zone into the ground on the upshot here, so
Yeah, now he's looking at that 30-foot range to save the par.
not a bad effort, just doesn't quite drop in. He's probably a little annoyed right now, but nothing too frisky for him. He'll be just fine.
Yeah, that's definitely a tough bogey to take. This is not a hole you want to drop a stroke on, but it happens, happens quick if you leave, kind of have a small lapse of focus on an upshot and leave yourself at that circle's edge range.
Exactly.
It's not 100% putt for anybody.
Exactly.
Tester for Clay too. After running that downhill birdie look, he's got about 25 feet coming back.
It's a good putt. Solid strike there. No damage done. Moving on to the next hole, and here I'm going to drop my birdie in, feeling relieved that I can get back on the board with a birdie. I thought Prodigy might sponsor me this year, so I'm like, that's the disc I'm throwing.
Hey, it's not too late.
Yeah, we'll see.
Send him that clip.
They never emailed me back, but okay. On to the next hole, right? Hole 4. This is kind of a standard power hyzer for your right-handed backhand throwers. Very tricky shot for a lefty. You just want to throw something that gets up this hill in a hurry and fades out to the left. And this is one of those holes that you feel like you should probably get.
Yeah, gap's not too, it's pretty wide, so as obviously for the lefty, this is a much tougher shot to keep the height and get it moving left the entire way. But, I mean, Nathan Queen, if anybody's going to park this hole on a lefty backhand, it is him. That is a highly technical, highly difficult shot.
All right, looks like we missed my throw, though, but that's my Stokely Peregrine. Gets a little bit of an unlucky kick off of that tree. Didn't know that's what happened, but certainly well within the circle for a birdie putt.
Yeah, just a nice right to left moving hyzer for most of these players. Clay just leaves that inside, unfortunately, catches a tree.
Yeah, one of those holes where if you overthink it, you might throw it inside a little bit.
Yeah, it's a bit deceiving because you can't see the basket off the tee, but you really don't need to cut it that close. There is plenty of room out to the right to swing it, and Uli kind of falls into that same trap, early release, but he does get lucky and is going to have himself a 40-footer.
There you go. No harm, no foul there. He'll take his par and move on.
So birdie looks for the Woz, able to connect. That's a nice looking putt there.
Thanks.
2 in a row for you to get you back in the right direction on the right side of even.
You got it.
Clay's still got a little bit of distance left, maybe 22 feet. Able to connect. All these guys are tapping out their shots. I did miss a shout out on hole 2. We had an eagle.
Wow.
204-foot throw in from Jacob Stoner, so shout out for that. Sorry I missed you in the moment, but that is a great 2 on the par 4.
Yeah, great eagle, Jacob Stone. Way to throw it in there. I'm sure that was a lot of fun.
I saw it as I was pulling into the parking lot. It was crazy time. As we head into hole number 5, par 3, 328 feet, quite a bit downhill. You just need something slow that's going to drift from right to left the entire way. A couple of late trees to miss, but any sort of straight to stable putter should do the trick for these guys.
Yeah, this hole's sort of deceiving. It moves to the left, but really a straight shot that just doesn't hit these trees straight ahead usually works out pretty well. If you can get a late turn like Nathan Queen's doing here, this shot is really framed up for it. That's really well done.
Disc switch.
Yet again, the master of control.
Yeah, just so smooth. Never a doubt of exactly where that disc was going, and he gets that really subtle late drift to the left with the putter. That is just, it's just perfect.
Yeah, and that tree right there that he gets right in front of, that's the one you gotta miss on the way in, and he throws it. He doesn't even miss it. He just threw it perfectly. All right, I'm trying to get a late push, but it doesn't quite happen. Fades out, but luckily I got through enough of the fairway to give myself a look.
Yeah, not a bad result there. Just a little left of the basket. Kind of a scary putt with a bit of a slope behind the basket, but we'll see what you're looking at here in a second. Clay's shot needs to flip up a little bit.
Yeah, he does the same thing that I did, just doesn't quite get it to push straight enough.
Yeah, he'll still have a birdie putt as well. Uli now looking to get his round going.
There's no way you just flipped up like that. There is no way.
Yeah, he talked about this shot for the next like 16 holes, but but he looked perfect when he threw that. The disc looked perfect. It just never quite hooked up, and that's that Z ringer he threw a lot in round 1. Maybe it got a little beat in between round 1 and round 2 because it was going a little straighter for him, and rightly so. He was a little frustrated about that because it did look just right.
Yeah. Tough break when you think you pure it and the disc doesn't quite do what you're expecting it to do. So he's now left with this 100-foot up shot. Executed very well. Nice little touchy anhyzer for him.
Yeah, that was honestly beautiful. That shot's harder than it looks. The camera doesn't quite do it justice. Big downhill slope after this basket.
See if Clay looks like he's gonna run it.
Yeah, he's going for it. Just a little off on that. All right, I've got a little look here. Got to go to a straddle. Oh, buddy. Really thought I made that out of my hand.
Good looking effort from 35 feet. Kind of tree in the way a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't. The tree was in the way for sure.
So not a bad effort at all. Let's see what Clay's got here. About 20 feet for his par save.
Good putt.
Clay's still looking confident on the putting green.
And there you go, Ulibarri knocking in his par.
Yeah, Nathan Queen gonna have a short tap in for birdie. He's off to a really solid start this round.
Yeah,
That's
he's looking good.
3 in a row.
All right, hole 6, one of the tighter gaps you're going to see on the course here. Quite a long tunnel hole, listed at 335 feet, and it plays all of it. Going a little bit uphill, you just want to draw the disc through this gap, get it to flip a little bit, and stay as straight as possible. If you get off the fairway, you might get lucky, sneak through the trees, and find your way to the green.
Yeah, really not a lot of movement for left or right. You just kind of got to keep the disc on a rope and get it to hold as long as possible. It's also tricky being at a distance where you kind of have to disc up to the fairway driver speed if you want to get it there.
Yeah, mid-range feels like a big shot. Here we go.
What are you going with here? It's looking like a great line.
Yeah, I thought I aced that out of my hand. Feeling confident now. I'm throwing a Stokely Robin. Stokely disc Robin. Great fairway driver for dead straight throws.
Yeah, we'll take another look at it from the other side. This was just a perfect deep hyzer flip for you. Got the ever so slightest bit of right drift out of the hand, and yeah, just a bit short, but skips right by the basket. Great shot.
Yeah, that felt good.
Clay now, let's see if he can follow that one up.
Just didn't quite get the flip out of it. It's pretty hard to follow up such a good shot that I had.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Ulibarri throws it good, but he gets the Ulibarri Charlotte luck. And
Yeah, sneaks through the left side
yeah.
all the way up to the circle's edge. Wow.
Good for him. It was a good enough throw. You know, you got to throw it good enough to get lucky. That's what I always say.
But you're not bitter at all, right?
No, I'm not bitter. I'm happy for the man. Nathan Queen's not gonna. He's a little bitter about that upshot.
Yeah, that was a tough break. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little off. You don't see him miss a lot of these kind of just standstill touchy putters. Usually very consistent with this style of shot. Little bank shot there keeps him close.
Yeah. He'll get a bogey here and move on.
Run from Clay from over 100 feet there. Nice touch. Keeps it close.
Very good frisbee toss there from Clay. Boom. What a putt. Capitalizes on sneaking through the trees, and that's what you got to do. Good
Yeah.
for Ulibarri. Taking
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah, the course giveth and the course taketh. But yeah, you gotta earn those. The course is gonna give you a 30-footer. Definitely got to capitalize. It's a really good putt for Paul. See if this can kick his round off.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's really nice. And if you watched round one, you know, you saw that the man was hitting those all day long. He's got a very unique putting style. You know, something I'd like to acknowledge about Paul is, you know, he's always playing with big germs, so he doesn't look big compared to big germ, but he's got a, you know, decent size, and he can putt the disc from the top. You know what? That's just a whiff. That one hurt my feelings. But anyway, Paul Ulibarri can kind of putt from like the top of his chest and drop the disc down. That's the point I was going to try to make there.
Yeah, definitely a unique style of putt. Yours also a little unique.
Yeah.
You switched to that goofy footing.
Yep.
Middle of last year seemed to work out for you. Obviously didn't connect on the birdie on this hole, but in general, I think it seems like it's been a good switch.
Yeah, and you know, it didn't work out for me on that putt, and I'm not going to lie to you. After I missed that putt, the nerves really started setting in on the putting green for me. So we'll see if my struggles continue or not.
Either way, we're going to find out here on hole 7, par 3, 310 feet. Just kind of a simple left to right drifting shot. You just want to miss a couple of these late trees, hopefully check up nicely and find yourself close to the basket. A forehand with a nice stable fairway driver is probably going to work for most of these guys.
Yeah, Ulibarri throwing his signature series Raptor here. Hits the gap nicely, gets a good forward push. We'll have a look.
Now let's see just how close of a look it's going to be. Ground play on the screen can be a bit finicky with a couple of late trees and the slope. Looks like Paul's going to be about 30 feet short, maybe a couple trees to contend with.
I'm going backhand here. I kind of wish I'd tried forehand, but
Backhand makes sense. Hey, you threw it well on hole 3. This is a very similar shape, but I just pulled it a bit.
yeah, you know, this is one of those holes where I almost aced it in practice, and then I let myself think about it too much there.
Yeah, sometimes hard to replicate that magic.
Exactly. Clay with a really nice looking forehand here. Gets a bit of an unlucky kick there, but he'll still have a look for his birdie.
Yeah, probably just outside circle for Clay. Another pretty solid lefty hole here for Queen. Probably just a nice stable mid-range for him. That's looking good if it checks up in time.
Whew, that was nice. That could have been an ace. Just a couple feet more forward, and that's a good shot for Nathan Queen.
Now we'll take one more look at it. Got some nice forward push, and then just let the stability of the disc take over at the end there.
Thank you.
Well executed. Hopefully we'll get him a look for birdie after that, dropping a stroke on the last hole.
I'm a little pinched off, but I've got a decent look up here.
Yeah.
That's a fun little jumpy
Yeah,
roll something of ground play.
Ulibarri gives me a good compliment there. I appreciate it. And thankfully my disc stays where it's at.
Yeah, that'll be a good par save for you. I'll see if Yuli can connect on another 30, 35 footer.
Yeah, almost. Good run.
A little low for him. Putt's been a bit off for Yuli so far this round. Can't quite find the rhythm. We'll see if Clay can stay hot here from circle 2.
And the same thing, just not quite connecting. But good looking bid regardless.
So Nathan Queen, last hope on the card for a birdie. Looking at a 27-footer. Yeah, you know he's going to knock that one down.
Yep. That was a good looking birdie putt, and that's a good birdie for Nathan Queen.
Pars for the rest of the card as we head on to hole 8.
All right, hole 8, it's a par 5. We've got this kind of low ceiling, little tight tunnel here. You want to keep something straight that's going to get a nice finish. Try not to hit any of those branches. Get over to this tee box here and give yourself another look down another tunnel, the same set of trees. And there's an eagle potential on this hole for sure if you throw 2 really good shots. Let's see if any of our guys on the card, get a look.
Yeah, very similar to hole 12 at Hornets Nest. This is kind of one of those par 4.5s where if it's being played on the Pro Tour, it's probably called a par 4 for this A tier. It was decided to be called a par 5. Doesn't change anything about the hole, but maybe gives those guys that pick up the 3. We'll let them feel a little extra special.
You're extra special.
I was not extra special on this hole
Never
on the
tried
day,
that
but we
one.
won't talk about my round. That's a great looking shot from Nathan Queen right there. Puts himself right in the middle of the fairway. Should set him up for another very similar shot into the green.
Yep, and Ulibarri throws this one a little straighter than he wants to, and he'll have a very obstructed, interesting upshot there. But
Yeah.
he's no stranger to throwing good ones from those kind of positions. All right, my throw is a little inside. I get a good tree reaction, and I'll at least be in position to score.
Yeah, still in birdie range definitely from there. It's worth noting, you can kind of hear it. This is probably the worst tee pad on the course. Tyler mentioned there was a bit of rain earlier in the morning and the night before, so the whole course was kind of wet. This is definitely where it showed it the most. Clay, that might be a kind of a tricky lie with the bench. And the tee pad there, we'll see what his footing looks like, but it's still a great shot nevertheless.
Yeah, Clay really stripes it. He's throwing one of his cast-to-class fairways that just sort of holds straight and has a reliable fade. It's a really good shot from Clay Edwards. Something that, kind of a shot that is very typical of him.
Yeah, so what are you thinking here? Kind of a couple different options.
Oh,
Looks
dude,
like you're looking at
I'm
the
ready to
deep
just
hyzer
pump
flip.
it. Yeah, I'm trying to hit a hyzer flip. I love the way I throw this. Just turns on me a little more than I needed it to. The hallway is tight, but I'm pretty happy with that result.
Yeah, it was a great looking line. Just caught the very edge of some of those branches, and these trees are very grabby. So if you catch any bit of them, you're not going to make it much farther, but still a good shot. Queen lined up in almost the perfect spot from here.
And Queen throws a really nice looking rip. He's a little upset it didn't turn a little more, but either way, he's got himself in layup position. Potential eagle look as well.
Yeah, 60-ish footer for eagle for him. Should work out. Yuli's trying to figure out how he can still try to get a look at the 3, but I don't really know if it's still possible from here. Maybe with like a roller. I don't know what he's lining up.
Yeah, I think that's what he's going to do. He throws this really well, gets it on the ground, but we were talking about this shot after he threw it. There was no way to get that to where it was without it turning hard or, getting the roll turned over hard. Clay's throwing this a little nose up, a little high. But he hits the gap, and that's what matters, so he'll get a fortunate kind of kick out to the fringe there.
Yeah, that's the safest play, right? Because it takes out a lot of these trees if you just kind of go over them. Makes the gap a lot bigger if he goes high like that. So not going to result in a longer look for the eagle, but still almost guarantees a birdie for him. Nice recovery there from Paul. Puts himself close for birdie and stays in position.
I turned this over a little more than I want to, but I'm in a good spot.
Yep, it's just about 15 feet long. Not too bad. All right, couple eagle looks coming up now. First, Nathan Queen finds himself right around that 60-foot mark.
That's a really good layup by Nathan Queen. Not sure if he was running the eagle or kind of half bidding it maybe.
Yeah, half bid.
Yeah.
But keeps it close either way. Clay, very similar distance. He's definitely going for this one.
Had the depth, just a little short.
Yeah, so no eagles from our card, but there were 4 on the day, so we might as well give some shout-outs quick. Josiah Barheit, Martin Neese, Austin Turner, Anthony Anselmo, all able to pick up the 3 on that hole. Well done, gents.
Yeah, good job, guys. Good eagles. That's fun to do. Oh, Man, I'm pretty upset about that. Didn't feel it. It didn't
Looked
look
like
like.
a lot of chains.
Yeah, I think that was a spit out more than a missed putt. So I'm gonna go over there and have a little pouty, little temper tantrum, and try to get my get my act together for the rest of the round.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tough break. Obviously a little left, but usually those low left putts stick. So
Yeah.
unfortunate break there, but gonna have to find a way to move past it here as we head into hole 9. Par 4, another very attackable hole, 495 feet. For the righty backhand player, you can kind of rip an anhyzer here down this right-hand fairway, and if you get a full flight, can get a long look out of it. Other players, if you want to play safe, can just kind of chip around the corner and play this as a more traditional par 4, but players that want to get aggressive can really can attack this hole and try to get a look. Nathan Queen up first. Hard to attack as a lefty here. He's probably just going to pitch the hyzer with a slower disc around the corner and play this for 2 shots.
He does exactly that. Even gets a good tree reaction straight to the middle of the fairway. Ulibarri looks like he's lining up a big shot here.
Yeah, Paul very comfortable hitting gaps hard with fast discs, so that's what he's going to do here. This looks like it's on a good angle. We'll see if it stays clean.
Yeah, we're all just kind of holding our tongues there, and it looks like he stays clean throughout the entire shot. So good for Ulibarri. Way to attack the hole.
Yeah, let's take another look and just see just how far he got. Puts this thing on a ton of anhyzer, but a stable enough disc to come out at the end, and
That's really well done.
yeah, it's way up there. He's probably less than 100 feet from the basket from there.
Yeah, great shot. It just goes to show sometimes the most aggressive play can be the best play.
On a hole like this, most definitely is.
Clay's
Clay.
going to go a little more standard, taking a fairway, and plays it well.
Yep, hits the gap, gets that full flight as well.
I'm throwing Stokely Lark here. Very understable. Gets over a little more than I want, but that's just fine, and I'll be in a spot to get an upshot for birdie.
Yeah. Any time you're getting a full flight on this hole, you're going to be happy with the result, because it means you should have a, less than 200-foot upshot, which for these guys is very doable.
For sure. Once again, Nathan Queen showing off his ability to just control a disc, control minimal turn, and just hold it.
Yeah, so much spin, so much control.
Yeah, he's a master at this. You'll see him do it over and over and over. And yeah, people at home, take notes, try to replicate that if that's something that you feel like you need to work on.
Bit of a tricky spot here for Clay. He's in the right side of rough. Has a window to go high, flexing shot.
Gets a bad kick there. Almost squeaks it, but just gets the tree and puts himself in a tricky spot here.
Yeah, still not out of it yet. Got a bunch of just thick stuff in front of him that he's going to just have to try to punch through.
That looked pretty good. Yeah, he'll be happy with that. But as you can see, it's easy to find trouble. Alright, I'm throwing my Stokely Finch in the mesoplastic. I got a patent pending. I got to kind of do a little spin shot. Pretty happy with that result there.
Yeah, should have a putt for you out of the right side rough. And yeah, you always got to look. Probably 90-footer from way downtown, but it's still an eagle look either way. And kind of unlucky little tree kiss there to keep him at 20, but
Yeah.
still a birdie putt. But first, Clay trying to save a par here.
Probably the first missed putt he's had all around.
Yeah.
Ulibarri for the bird. There he goes.
Nice.
So fun fact about this basket that I learned from Austin Turner, the pole was actually put in upside down, which is why it is tall, like the cage is higher above the ground and closer to the band of the basket.
Wow, I did not know that. That is a fun fact. So putting on this basket's actually a little bit more difficult.
It is a smaller window than normal. So birdies for Yuli, birdie for Nathan,
And I
hopefully a birdie for Woz from.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to miss these. It's still doable, but luckily that one stays in, and we got a birdie.
Thank the basket for its service. As
Yep.
that rounds out our front nine. Had some pretty eventful front nine here at Bradford. Some birdies, some bogeys. Whole card is kind of looking to get their feet under them. Nobody really pulling away from the field yet. As we take a look at the scores, Paul Ulibarri still maintaining a lead, but it's gotten just a little bit smaller than it was at the beginning.
Yeah, and you can see there's some players deep in the field that threw some really hot rounds.
Yeah, Anthony Anselmo up 7 spots. Dan Hastings up 4 spots, making moves earlier. We'll see if those guys can keep the momentum on the back nine and find themselves on the lead card for a third and final round back at Hornets Nest.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next video on the back nine.
See you there.